Black Power. We are just a week away from the spring equinox. It is a time of great universal, spiritual, and seasonal significance when the dead becomes the living, the old becomes the new, new beginnings, new openings. The past few years we have been exposing that it's also a time when conquerors and colonizers engage in blood sacrifices, whether it's individual to massacres and wars. They most definitely have a practice of using this period to do what they believe will bring them more wealth, prosperity, favor. And when you consider, they conquer people during these periods, that's what it is. So again, just looking beyond the slave religions that were imposed upon people, but understanding the science involved, you can see the simplicity, but also see the solutions. Um, Locally in LA last week, a community known as Ladera Heights, there was another brother killed by the LA sheriffs. We went over there. Half the people we spoke to seemed like they didn't, give a damn, want to be bothered. But the other half, some of those people expressed a lot of concern because, again, it's a situation that we all know extreme measures were taken, unnecessary measures were taken for this community, which is considered one of the third wealthiest black communities in the nation. It was a reminder, don't matter where you are, who you think you are, what you think you are, no one is exempt. But out of the people we spoke to, they were familiar. Some of them said he was new to the gym, pretty much kept to himself, but no one knows his identity, which has still not been revealed. So if anyone has found out, most definitely let us know. But we will continue to look into that, and hopefully, more people over there now will start getting involved with things that have been happening as they see that not just this, but also the housing issue and other issues are also affecting them. Windsor Hills, the number one, which is considered the number one black community in the nation. And then you have Baldwin Hills, which is considered the second. So then Ladera, the third, means these are three of the wealthiest black communities in this nation. So most definitely, they get involved, they can help some things to happen. Um, so far this year, there have been 239 people killed by police. So again, this is a situation that it's not slowing down. And like I said, that we're in the period of the spring equinox, the first full moon prior to the first full moon after, that is a high point in killing season. Also, this past week, we went to what's considered the Leimert Park Village Crenshaw Commons Community Stakeholders Meeting and spoke to a group who we had went to about 6 months ago. At that point, it seemed like the group wanted the homeless folks out the park by any means, wanted the vendors shut down. This past week seemed like the position has changed somewhat. The group itself has contracted a group of students from over at Trade Tech to look into developing a resource center for homeless people so they won't have to travel as far to get assistance and information. We were also informed of two other groups, Hopies or Hoppies and Lhasa. They have supposedly been going to the park to provide assistance to people. But when we talk to people in the park, they said these groups have basically been wasting their time, coming, taking their information. They said a couple times they went over to the offices of these groups and just sat up in the office all day. Nothing happened. They said during the raining season, one or both of these groups did come with vouchers, hotel vouchers, so they could get up out the rain temporarily. They said there have been times when some of them have come to the park with bus tokens, but never enough for everybody who is signing up to work with them. So again, it kind of reflects a trend where these groups who are supposed to be dealing with these issues are doing the minimum amount. But if you look up and check salaries, quite often you'll see some nice, healthy salaries being paid to people who administer these programs. So again, that is part of the problem. We also found out the group Art and Practice owns a lot of the storefronts right there in Leimert, right across from Leimert Park, from Leimert Boulevard, the space just north of Chaotic Sounds on around on 43rd Place, on the other side of the Vision Theater, all around up Degnan to the alley, and then on the opposite side of Degnan, a lot of space over there. When we look the group Art Plus Practice up, it's a collective. It does have two black owners, co-founders, but then the third person, who is also the executive director, is non-black. So how much stake does he have in it? How much control does he have in it? Is something that has to be found out. We also were told that the LAPD did begin the zoning for people who sleep in their cars, and people who have been sleeping in their vehicles in that area have now been getting harassed and shuffled around. So we have to look at that. But also, last Tuesday's election showed that a lot of people don't support no parts of the politics that's going on in LA, considering only 11.45% of registered voters voted. So, they're trying to use corporate media right now to put a lot of different spins on that. But the bottom line is people are tired of the bullshit. They tired of misrepresentation, people who are getting in there and going with the agenda of corporations, but overall going with the agenda of white nationalism. They've supported the policies of genocide and gentrification that's being carried out now. They've supported the nourishing of the prison industrial complex. They've supported the economic hardships that are impacting the community, and they have sabotaged any chances of self-governance. So right now, people are woke and got to continue to organize and push forward because, according to their polls, people aren't participating in it, but most definitely people want something done. So it's getting to those folks, and going back to some of the things that happened in the meeting. There's no compromising for or settling for anything short of empowerment, self-determination, being in control of our communities. And based off of things that they're still trying to do, whether it's these no sleeping in your cars, whether it's the pending gang injunctions and other things, that means there's still a lot of us here. And it's enough of us in these different communities to come together and actually, hold something, build something. So again, can't keep waiting. This past week, Faison was also contacted by the LA County District Attorney's conviction litigation department. They started a new section known as the Conviction Review Unit, where they look at cases where people were railroaded, sent to prison, for no just reason, or even according to their own laws, certain things just didn't go right. So when I looked the Conviction Review Unit up, they have been in the process of reversing people's cases and helping people who have been wrongfully convicted released. So this week, we most definitely want to help the letter Faison just received from them, the fact that they acknowledge he's been railroaded. We want to get as many people as possible to participate in encouraging them to release Faison. So I'll add the information on how to go about contacting them in the description. but throughout the week, I'll put out more information about it because, again, he's been in there 10 years, 2 bogus counts of criminal threats, but there are many others who are sitting in there for basically no reason. I mean, if you really go through it from mental health to economic hardships to drugs, you see it's all pretty much entrapment. But, you know, there has been some responses in different areas based off of the activities of the prison strikes and boycotting corporations. So again, with the spring equinox, we want to invest in upping those activities and sooner than later harvesting our liberation, our freedom. Also, there was information that came out that of wrongful convictions, blacks make up 47% of that. So again, when you consider blacks as a whole, only 13% of the population, black men are only 5%, but then we make up 47% of wrongful convictions. So again, it shows that this system must be broken immediately. I mean, the system is broken, but it must be neutralized and changed immediately. Question again, a lot of folks have now is what are black businesses doing for the black communities as far as fighting back the genocide, gentrification, empowerment of our people. One group in particular that stepped up last week is Cole's Men's Wearing Tuxedos. The brother donated over 24 pairs of new shoes to our survival program in Leimert Park. So a lot of brothers was able to, get some clean sneaks. So we appreciate that. But there's a lot more that needs to be done, and there are a lot more of our people who are in positions to help, and that time is now. As for self-governance, most definitely want to look to the strength of what's happening in South Africa right now. On one end, they're calling to take back lands without compensation from white owners, descendants of colonizers, other people who have come into control of a lot of their land and resources through criminal means. They are now looking to restore that situation. But again, unfortunately, they got some of their own people who are sabotaging those movements and trying to fight to help the white thieves maintain what they got. So again, as we see here locally, we've seen it on a national level, we now see internationally where some people just that sick in their head where they don't get the time is now for us to start taking our shit back, taking control of our situations by any and every means necessary. So we most definitely support that. There's also a movement now that's interrupting South Africa from pulling out of the international criminal courts. So again, folks sabotaging self-governance. I heard one sister over there say that it wasn't time to pull out of the international criminal courts because Africa itself didn't have a means of an alternative means of addressing their intercontinental issues between each other. But again, the first step to building that is to get the white folks out your business who have been playing us against each other for too long. So salute to everybody there who's pushing forward with that. Today we're going to be out here in Leimert Park again with our Break Bread Survival Program. We're looking to start another component of it today. So again, excited. Thanking everybody who's been supporting that. It seems on many different levels, people are responding to what's happening, whether, I doubt it's changes of hearts because these people have been doing this crap for too long, but quite often it's the pressure of the people. So here in LA County, the city of LA, we're seeing, certain maneuvers, but again, we don't want it to be a compromise where, they're just doing certain things for the meantime to have us ease up and they move forward. But the county has started a program where they are now giving people who have been homeless for over a year. The first payment is just $400 straight up, but then they gradually have where people can keep getting those cash aids based off of their condition, and they got certain things to where if you find a place or move in with people, they're giving a little more assistance now, crumbs basically, because what they need to be giving is land, housing. But again, these are crumbs to assist in the meantime. So most definitely, if you're in position, take advantage of that, but don't settle for that. Also, as we as I was just pointing out, the city is now starting to take certain measures. You know, they had people voting on Measure H this past Tuesday, and again, the game with that was the last measure that was supposed to deal with the homeless issue. They said that money built facilities. Now this money is supposed to operate those facilities, which is a game, because again, the money should be going towards the housing, towards restoring land. But again, keep the pressure up. It's working. Don't settle. Don't compromise. And it's the people united. So whatever differences we may have, communicate. Let's resolve them, and let's move forward. All power to the people.